Casey.
And I'm Corey.
And we are the Wright Brothers. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Tech Corner.
And in this edition, we're going to be exploring the art of showing property.
That's right. I don't think it's any secret that right now we are in a buyer's market, which means that even agents that have typically worked mostly listings have to transition a little bit into working with buyers, and that means showing property.
That's right. So what we've done is we've actually started to poll many of the agents that we work with to find out what are some of their best tactics and tips for when they go to show property. We've come up with a great list of some creative things that you can keep in mind, ways that you can start to show property more effectively. We've got a lot of great information. Let's dive in. Alright, well the first part of showing property is that you certainly want to make sure that everybody who's coming along for the journey is comfortable along the entire way. One of the great ways that we found that you can do this is to pack a cooler. In the cooler you want to put obviously some cold beverages, maybe some water and soda, as well as some snacks so that if anybody gets hungry along the way, you can always refuel and replenish them with plenty of food and beverage. One interesting thing that we heard from one of our realtors was that they always like to pack doggy treats as well. They found that a lot of their buyers start to search properties with their best friend, their pets, and so it's always a unique way to get to that buyer's heart by providing some doggy treats as well. So pack a cooler is the first thing.
Showing property in the 21st century. Something tells me that tip wouldn't have been on the list 5-10 years ago. Okay, well the second one I want to talk about is also something that wouldn't have been on this list 5 or 10 years ago, and that is bring a portable gaming device. And the best one we've found is the PlayStation Portable, and you can pick these up, they're about $250. And the great thing about a PlayStation Portable is that it can play games, you can watch movies, you can do all sorts of things. So you can pick up a couple cartridges, some that are gender neutral, or you can get some that would cater more to girls, some that would cater more to boys. You can pick up movies, all sorts of stuff, and you can just hand this off to the kids, and they're good for 3 or 4 hours. You don't have to worry about them. They can go into the properties with you because it's portable, it's not tied to your car, or they can, while they're in the car, they can be plugging away. So that's just a great thing to take care of the kids. Get a PSP. If you're showing with more than one kid at a time, it might even be a good idea to have 2 PSPs.
Certainly want to keep the little ones entertained.
Absolutely.
Now, that's all in the setup to make sure that everybody's comfortable. There's also a few things that you want to do along the way. What we found is that you view so many properties at a time, a lot of the times, they all kind of become jumbled and you forget which property had this and which had that. So there's a couple things that you want to do to really make sure that you're able to remember the trip and that your buyers are able to remember the trip just as they wanted to. The first thing you want to do is bring a clipboard that has a printout of the MLS printout of every single property that you're going to be visiting in order. Give each person, whether it's husband or wife or however many people there are, have their own clipboard with a pen so they can make notes on each MLS printout as they go, and they'll have everything in front of them as they're walking through the properties.
Absolutely, great idea. Sort of along that line of remembering things that you're seeing is bring a digital camera, and you might be tempted because you're the agent and you know more about the homes you're seeing to take the pictures yourself, but again, I'd encourage us, hand this off to the buyer, let them take pictures so they can take the photos of the things that are interesting to them. Maybe they're really interested in yard size, so that's where they're going to center their attention. Maybe they really want to see if they're going to have a good office space, so that's where they're going to focus their attention. But again, if you hand them off the camera, they have the opportunity to do that. Another great thing about bringing a camera is now you have an opportunity of, say, only the husband's there and the wife didn't come along. Well, now you don't have to go re-show those houses. You can show the pictures to the husband or the wife that wasn't there, and they can get a pretty good idea of what was going on.
Certainly, bring a camera, email them the pictures after you're done. And then lastly, it's always a good idea to bring a voice recorder, some sort of audio recording device, so that along the way, as they may have questions about some school districts or shopping centers, or maybe just a little bit more of information on any sort of a house or anything they wanted to know, you can make notes for yourself so that when you come back after you're done showing properties, you know exactly what you need to do to fully service those buyers and get them any information that you might have not had ready when you went to go show a property initially.
Absolutely, and I think the great thing about bringing the voice recorder as opposed to just having a notepad is that allows you to do it while you're driving. You can just make your notes without having to pull over or get in a car accident.
Certainly.
And then the last thing we wanted to talk about, sort of on the topic of in your car, is that this day and age you really do need to have a GPS system. And I think this really is the most important item on this list because it makes sure you never get lost, you can make sure that you're taking the quickest routes, and you can just make sure that the ride is more comfortable for everybody involved. Now GPS doesn't mean these days that you have to spring for a $5,000 in-dash system. You can go get a little portable guy, one of the Garmins or the TomToms, and these things they started around $200 and they're very sophisticated. They can do everything your in-dash GPS systems can do these days. So spring for a GPS, make the ride a little more comfortable.
Certainly. So those are some tips that we've been able to gather from agents in the business who enjoy showing property and have done it well for several years. Hopefully you can take some of those ideas that they've had, make them your own, turn them into your own, and start showing property and enjoy doing it along the way. And most importantly, make sure that your clients are enjoying it as well. So thank you for joining us on this edition of Tech Corner. We'll see you next month.